That's me. And that is this. It's the Xvive A58 wireless guitar and bass system. Now, okay, hold your tomatoes, whatever. I know this is not a gear channel. This is not a product review channel, and it's not gonna be. This is a bass education channel, but part of building a YouTube channel is making relationships with companies, music companies. So when Xvive emailed me about doing a product review for this, I actually was really excited. And the fact that I'm here making this review tells you that I really love this thing. And that I think most of you would really love this thing. And I think some of you would not love this thing. So, stick around to find out which one you are. I'm going to give my honest review of the I don't need to say honest review. You know I'm going to be honest. I'm going to give my review of the Xvive A58 wireless system. All right, here we go. Okay, so over the past month or so, I've used this thing on a number of rehearsals, a handful of gigs, which we're going to talk about my experiences at the gigs, and also just here in the office on a daily basis, practicing and recording and so on and so forth. But before I go into all the details, I want to talk about the specifications of this thing because it's got really nice specs on paper, especially for the price. This goes for $150, and that's really affordable for what this does. Because it has, well, first of all, look at the thing. They're tiny. This is the receiver and the transmitter. They're the same size, and they operate on 6 different channels at 5.8 gigahertz, which is a really nice improvement over Xvive's older generation of wireless stuff. Because 5.8, from what I hear, has a lot less interference with Wi-Fi and also with other wireless equipment. So that's a nice little spec right there. It also has an active and a passive mode for basses, and active pickups and things like that. And it's got a nice little channel scan mode. When you plug this thing in, hold it down, hold the receiver channel scan button down, it'll scan all 6 channels to see which one has the least interference. And that's really cool. So that right there, all that is like a really nice plus. Battery time on this is 5 hours. And the build quality is really nice. I gotta say, like, it's made of plastic, but all of the seams and the build is really tight and flush, which is I'm impressed by. And also, like, you know, even little things like the hinge for the jack is really nice and firm. It's got a nice little, you know, rubber piece here for mounting on the body. Which, speaking of, check out what this thing looks like on the bass. I mean, it's pretty nifty. It's nice. I mean, out of the box, I was really, really impressed by this thing. Even the little carrying case it comes with. Check this out. This is awesome. Got a little dual USB-C charger cable that comes with it. And this nice little hard case. So it's, I mean, look, out of the box, it was really nice stuff. But I gotta tell you, that didn't matter worth nothing to me because I was very skeptical about this thing when it came in for 2 main reasons. The first has to do with that active-passive mode. I have heard over the years about these wireless, you know, these small wireless systems that they don't play well with active basses because of how close the transmitter is to the electronics. So they end up interfering with each other and making a lot of noise. Xvive, on this iteration of their wireless, as opposed to their older one, has the active-passive mode on here, and they claim that it works well with active basses. I'm going to get into the details of that in a little bit, but I want to tell you about my other reservation because this was the biggest one for me. I have sworn off wireless gear for years because I have hated that historically wireless systems change the tone of your bass. I can't do that. I can't stand it. I'm a tone snob, and wireless systems, in the past have made my tone brittle, and they take low end away from it, which I can't do. I can't deal with that. So the first thing I did when I got this out of the box was plug it in, turn it on, and plug it into my interface to see if the tone changed between that and my cord. And by the way, when you first plug these in, hit the power button, switch them both on, it works right away. There's no setup, no anything. That's awesome. I mean, these things work like right out of the box. But anyway, okay, so plug this thing into my interface, and this is what I got. Are you hearing what I'm hearing? There's like minuscule difference between the tone of this and my professional level cable. I was blown away by that. Very, very surprised. I already at that point was like, if the tone is that good on this, then this is probably already worth the money, because I just did not expect that from a $150 wireless system. So very impressed by that, very impressed. However, there's still the active electronics thing. And that was actually the first little disappointment I had. This works perfectly well with my Stingray Special. Okay, so one of my active basses that I play on gigs, no noise, works great. The active mode works exactly like it's supposed to. But with my G&L L2000, this was noisy. And that bummed me out. So I emailed Xvive, I told them about that. And, they said they were sorry to hear it. They actually sent me this, which is a little, they have this little holster system. I don't know if they call it a holster. I do. That goes on your strap. And it just makes the transmitter a little further away from the electronics. And once I used the transmitter with this thing on my strap, it worked fine. It's not as sexy as just being able to plug in just the little transmitter into your bass, but I will give them credit. This thing did fix the issue. But, I mean, if you're, it really is going to depend on the bass you own, whether or not this is going to behave well with just the transmitter plugged into the bass. So that's something to take account of. Now, this costs $20 extra, so I'm still in the camp of, for $170 all told, the fact that this was working with all of my basses and the tone was that good, I gotta tell you, I was still very, very impressed with this. But that doesn't mean it works on a gig. So that was the big test. And I took this to, like I said, a handful of gigs. And so a handful of different rooms with different types of interference possibilities. And I gotta tell you, it's worked awesome. I was super stoked about one thing I didn't even know I was going to enjoy on the gig. When I'm often singing lead vocals, background vocals, so I'm on the mic, and at other times I'm turning around to the drummer. I move around the stage a lot. I get really into certain songs. So I do move a lot, and I didn't realize how much I would enjoy the fact that I didn't have a cord hanging by my leg. Because I gotta tell you, for me, by the end of every set, I have a cord that looks, like that, like twisted fingers. Because I just turn a lot. And I didn't realize in the past how much I kick my cord out when I'm approaching the mic. And the fact that I wasn't doing that all night, I gotta tell you, it's a really nice quality of life change. So that right there made this very enjoyable to use. I'm pretty vain, and this looks really cool on my Stingray bass, so I liked that too. Let's talk about the battery life on this. So 5-hour battery life, it's enough, but I play a lot of long gigs. A lot of my gigs are 3-4 hours, and I know some of you out there, it's the same thing. If you're going to be using this on a gig, you're playing, covers gigs where you have multiple sets. You're cutting it close to 5 hours when you consider if you have a 4-hour gig and then like maybe a half-hour sound check or something like that. That's a lot of time on the bass. And for me, I had a 4-hour gig last weekend, and I have to tell you, I didn't run into any problems with this thing. But I did charge it in between sets. So that being said, like if you have the ability to charge this in between sets, which most of us do, we're going to have a couple set breaks most of the time. This charges pretty quickly, and I don't think you're going to run into any issues on gigs that are 3-4 hours long. If you tried to push it to where you didn't charge this, I don't know. I haven't tried that yet. I'm afraid to do that on a gig. I'm a very, I like to be pretty conservative about those things. So, I think it would be fine. I would love to see this at 7 hours. I know some of the other Bug wireless systems are like 7 hours, but maybe that's for the next iteration, Xvive. But I think the 5 hours is good. I don't think it's great. You take that how you will. So yeah, in conclusion, great little product. I'm gonna say this costs $170 because if you're like me and you have active basses, I would get this with it, okay, just in case you need it. But for $170 for the wireless system and the strap holder, guys, this is an excellent value. In fact, I'm really, really intrigued by Xvive's products in general because I see a lot of good stuff on their site, and I know not a lot of people are talking about them because they're not as established as some of the other companies. But I got to tell you, from what I read on forums about their older wireless stuff having, certain issues with active basses and other reservations that people had with them, man, I think they hit a home run with this. I think this is a huge improvement for them over the past 5 years. And for me, I would buy this. If I knew what I know now, would I go and buy this? 100%. This has been totally worth the money. So I'm really excited about this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you have experience with wireless gear? All that stuff. Let's get the conversation going as usual. But I think a lot of you guys out there would love this. So let me know if you're one of those people. All right. Like I said, this ain't our gear review channel. I'll be back next week. That's why I put 2 videos out this week. I wanted to make sure I had some of my normal stuff out there, and as well as this. But hey, that was fun. I'll see you guys soon, and yeah, take care.